This is the pyramid of how I lost 70 pounds in 6 months, going from 250 pounds of lard and blubber to 180 pounds like I'm auditioning for Baywatch. Now, it was not easy whatsoever. It was one of the most, if not the most challenging times in my life. I had to cut off communications with a lot of people. I had to sacrifice in my entire social life. Not like I have one anyways. All I do is gym, Bible, church, and school at the time. And now school is now business. So that didn't really change at all. But it was one of the most difficult times of my life. I had to completely rework myself because I was a totally different person at 250 pounds than I was at 180 pounds. I'm currently now standing at 190 pounds. This is about a year ago. So I'm going to take you to each step by step, the bottom being the most important that you have to rely on if you're going to try and transform your body, especially at this significant rate, in quite frankly, a short time period for over 70 pounds. Bottom is the most important, up to the top as being the least important, and it's just a general conception that I have learned based off society, based off fitness, based off mental health, and everything that goes along with if you really want to achieve this kind of transformation. First and foremost, the most important thing in your life, if you are trying to make such a drastic change, a weight change of 70 pounds, is first and foremost God, our Lord, Jesus Christ. If you do not have God while you are doing this, or respect to everyone, some kind of higher being that you obey or look down upon, you will not achieve this. Because we all have to submit to someone, and when we are looking at a mirror, we are grabbing a palm full of love handle fat, and no girl wants us, our family looks at us different, your friends don't want to go out in public with you because you're fat and ugly. Who are you going to be praying to and calling out to and opening up your feelings to? God. We can do all things through Christ, especially losing that kind of fat mass and turning from a gluttonous person into a true soldier of Christ. The most important part about making such a change is believing that God is with you every step of the way, because it will make it a whole lot easier. You will feel a lot less alone. And if he could move mountains and walk on water, do you think you can stop eating honey buns? Just a perspective thing. The second most important thing when making a weight transformation at this severity is a caloric deficit. I know that this is probably the most obvious staple when you're trying to lose weight, is at the end of the day, guys, move more, eat less. That's how you lose weight. I can sugarcoat this and give you a bunch of encyclopedia terminology words and tell you this is this and that is that, and this actually counteracts with that, and this reacts to this way. Eat less and move more. Be in a caloric deficit anywhere from around 200 to 500 calories off of your caloric maintenance based on your weight, your activity level, and your height. That is simple. God and caloric deficit are the pillars of trying to transform and change your body. The next most important pillar of changing your body in a significant way is 10,000 steps a day and low impact cardio for 15 or 30 minutes. 10K steps a day, if you truly do that on a daily basis and you are truly that active, you are going to have no time to eat bad food or sit in somber about your cravings, about how you're fat, about how you don't like the way you look, worried about the progress. If you're constantly moving, bro, you're not going to have a lot of time to do a lot of things, because that has to be your priority. Constant movement is just a general benefit for life. You look at all of these studies. You lose 40 pounds, it takes about 60% weight pressure off of your knees. It takes pressure off of your joints. It takes pressure off of, honestly, your spirit. You are just a better person in all aspects, spiritually, mentally, and physically, when you are doing some sort of constant movement throughout the day of 10,000 steps. And bro, if you're sitting there on your phone and you're looking at dudes that are clearly on gear while you're stuck at 220 pounds and your weight hasn't moved in 3 days, don't you think you're going to beat yourself up about it? Comparison is the theft of joy, you guys. And if we just go outside and touch some freaking grass, that whole mentality of I can't is going to start to go away slowly and surely. Because we're going out and we're embracing God's creation, bro. We're going out, we're doing things, we're building confidence, we're making our body healthier. We are on a progressive upbeat of getting better. That's what 10K steps is. So that is a minimum at the day. Some people will argue fasted cardio is better. Specific cardio equipment is better than others. Because I work out and I'm so active, you're going to want to do everything possible to take stress off of your joints, especially when you're that high body fat, because that much weight on your frame. Like I'm 5'10", 5'10 and a half. I've been 5'10 and a half for a couple years. 250 pounds at 5'10 put a lot of stress on my body constantly. I was not flexible. I was not fluid. There was times the last 2 to 3 months of my bulk or just me getting fat, I was not progressing in my lifts because I was just not simply mobile enough, like at all. I seriously wasn't. I was just lethargic and lethargically thinking as well. I just didn't want to get up. The actual misconception is the more in shape you get, the better you will feel and the more actually activity you'll want to do. That is a given fact. So with that much weight and strenuous on your joints, you're going to want to do something that is low impact, like an elliptical, an incline treadmill. You're going to want to walk, the rower. Like you don't want to be sprinting or doing hill runs like you're in Attack on Titans or something like that, or trying to train for a marathon, or doing a bunch of like sledgehammer tire smashes or sled pushes. Like you don't want strenuous amounts of force when you're doing cardio because you're already active throughout the day if you're doing 10K steps a day. And another is you want to keep your joints just as frequently healthy and fresh as possible, especially if you're training 6 days a week like I did and doing cardio 7 days a week. That is substantially a lot of strenuous amount of force on your joints. And you have to, other than your nutrition and recovery, you have to be mindful of what you're doing exercise-wise and cardio-wise. Now, 15 to 30 minutes is just the staple kind of cardio that everyone wants to do 3 to 4 times a week, a basis. This is just a general health conception thing. 15 to 30 minutes of extra activity along with your weightlifting is going to go a lot longer than not doing any cardio or doing long, strenuous 2 hours of cardio every day. You can't rush this process because it is a process. It is a process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Like I was stuck at 200 pounds for probably 3.5 weeks. And I was like, how am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to get out of this? Am I just going to be stuck at 200 pounds? It is a progress. Your body will react. You are changing every single thing about your body, your output, your input, your progressiveness, your body shape, your mentality, your mental awareness. Like you're changing everything possible when it comes to losing this much amount of weight. You have to consider all things in a progressive and long, strenuous, futuristic standpoint. You have to think bigger picture when you're trying to lose something like 70 pounds over a 6-month period. You have to realize that your body needs to be healthy for a long time. Because if you're in month 4 and you can barely get up in the morning because you're so sore because you overdid it, you're going to 1, lose some progress, 2, get stuck in a way that you don't want to be at, and 3, get discouraged, and 4, not be able to physically do and put out the exact effort that you want on those last home stretches. The next pillar is 200 grams protein plus and carb cycling. So 200 grams of protein plus, this is all for people that are like above 180, kind of something around those lines. I would try to get over 200 grams, probably over, honestly, 220 every day. That is just so important. One, for you want to keep the muscle that you somehow still have when you're this fat. You're going to lose a lot of weight. You are going to lose some muscle. Like I will tell you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it that I was not I was really weak at the end of this process, because when my body was in a caloric deficit for 6 months, I'm not putting myself in the best opportunity to gain muscle. Yes, in the first 3 months, I was gaining very, very significant muscle when I was cutting, just because of how better my workouts were, my intensity was, my consistency was there. But you will start to lose muscle when you are in this much of a deficit for that long. But you have to realize that you put yourself in this situation and only you can get out of it. There's going to be negatives. There's negatives with every decision that you make in life, especially a substantial decision like this to actually get back to who you want to be and are happy with the person that you are. So keeping 200 grams of protein will keep your muscle. Also, protein is much more important for recovery. And like you said, we're constantly moving 6 to 7 days a week, 7 days a week if you're that serious. You need to be high protein to get your muscles recovered and in the best possible resting state that you can. Carb cycling. So carb cycling is, I should have said complex carb cycling. My second biggest meal was in the morning before training, and my largest meal of the day was after training. So I was only eating my rice, potatoes, breads, all those complex carbs that to fuel ourselves were only post and pre-training. Now, why is that significant? So your body is going to go into a, hey bro, I need carbs state when you are fasting that much from complex carbohydrates. Why that is so important is because, one, you're going to be in a significant deficit, and those deficits are going to mostly come from your breads. Those carbs are going to specifically be coming from your potatoes and your breads. That's where your deficit is really going to take the hit in the carbohydrate section. So you want to, one, if it's pre-workout, have your highest carb meal pre-workout so you can energize and feel actually effective in the workout, because the workout needs to be at all optimal, at all go, checking all the boxes so that you can, one, maximize extortion, two, maximize effort, and three, maximize intensity to burn more calories, to get more out of your workout, and to further progress what you're trying to achieve. So your pre-workout meal needs to be but one of your highest complex carbohydrate meals. And then post, you need to replenish the glycogen that you lost, the carbs that you lost in that workout that you just did. So you need to refuel yourself. And if you have 10K steps and low impact 15 to 30 minute cardio, you need to be fueled for that. And you will feel a lot fuller if you crunch a lot of your calorics. Like probably 70% of my calories were in a 5 to 6 hour window of pre-post training. And then the rest of the day, I would just eat my meat, fruits, and vegetables. And I would be, not hungry from those complex carbs meals because they were so high in protein. They were so filling with how much food I was eating because all my carbs were in that short window. I was fasting from complex carbs from the time that I ended my post-workout meal to when I'm eating my next pre-workout meal. So that carb cycling goes a long way. It's also really, really good for your mental status when it is going on, because you feel like you're doing yourself a great service of not eating carbs past 8 p.m. Even though that's a total myth, that you have to stop eating past 8 p.m. That carb cycling is not only for physical, it is also for the mental. If you tell yourself that you're going to gain your big carb roasted potato meal at the end of your workout, by all means, go for it. And then you're going to feel a lot lighter and a lot better yourself when you distance yourself from those carby things and looking in the mirror at the end of your day. Fourth pillar, this is a little fun one that I wanted to add. Peanut butter, honey, pre-workout, and fruits kept me from having any kind of cravings. So good, real, natural sweeteners like peanut butter, honey, fruits, Rise, Sour Punch pre-workout, Rise, protein powder, Rise electrolytes, like all of these supplements that are, sweet flavored, all natural maple syrup. These are all healthy natural sugars or benefits that are not going to tenuously make you have that sugar crash, and they're not that bad for you in moderation compared to like a crumble cookie, or you go and you're 3 months in and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. I need sugar. I'm craving sugar so much. Like I'm one of those Wall-E characters on those freaking scooter bikes that are demanding a Diet Coke or whatever. I didn't have sugar cravings for 6 months because these natural, raw, real, energizing sugars were my sweet treats for the day. Like I had peanut butter with all my rice cakes and bread in the morning. I had honey pre-workout every time, and I put them in my protein powder shakes. I was making steel cut oats with pure maple syrup mixed in and some cinnamon. Like there's sweet things in this world that taste freaking good all the time, and you don't need that artificial junk to fill these crazy sugar cravings. Like you have a sweet tooth, stick to these things. I'm personally not a big sugar guy. I'm way bigger of a savory guy. Like I'd rather have the Five Guys burger than the Cheesecake Oreo cheesecake. These things like really, really helped me have that like sugary, ooh, I'm a little kid again kind of feeling. And it kept me from actually, cheating on my diet for 6 months, because that's a huge part, is you got to stay consistent on your diet for these 6 months. Now, a refeed is totally acceptable, whatever, and I probably should have done it. But I was 6 months of straight dieting, and I'll put the pictures here of what I looked like when I was fat and ugly, and then I'll put the picture here of what I looked like at the end of this 6 months training. You can tell I did not cheat on my diet whatsoever, and this is a full natural transformation. The next thing is the 2 to 3 sets till failure. Volume is going to kill your progress in this stage, because if you are thinking that you can have that energy 4 months in compared to a month in when you have a lot more fat stored in, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're going to put a lot of more impact on your joints, and you're not going to feel great at all. Like 5 months in, I felt like I was getting hit by a car because of just how much I was working out and how active I was for a long extended period of time. So if you're keeping your sets to 2 to 3 working sets till failure, this is not only the best thing possible you could do for your muscles and muscle progression, muscle growth, hypertrophy, but it is just really, really good from a recovery standpoint. That is the thing that we have to optimize and prioritize the most when we're losing this much weight, because it is a 6-month progress at the end of the day. You have to do this for a long time, not for a good time kind of thing. The next pillar is no one cares if you're fat. People are going to hear that and go, whoa, like, yo, chill out. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to blow up my comment sections probably because of that. I'm not going to lie to y'all. It's a thing. These 2 pillars right here, pretty privilege and no one cares if you're fat. It's just America. It's just how society works. A lot more opportunities are going to come up. A lot of windows and doors are going to open if you're in shape. And no one's really going to care what you say, especially looking at a camera. If you're 215 pounds, comparison to 180 pounds with an 8-pack. It's a hard truth in society. Now, I am a true one believer and Christ follower, and I will respect every single person, regardless of their body shape and what they do in their free time. But we have to look at it from a standpoint of truth and what really is going on. There's a lot more people that are going to compliment you and encourage you, which is huge for this part of your journey. Once you're actually making the progress, no one's going to care that you started losing weight except for the first day. Everybody's going to care at the start, and everybody's going to care at the end. No one cares in that middle point of you actually trying to achieve your goals. It's just statistically and a truth in today's society that works on no one sees the work, but everybody loves the end goal. Everybody loves the finished work. That's something that you have to realize. That's something that hit me really hard to about 2 and 3 months in. I was losing a lot of weight. No one cared. Like my first couple videos of this transformation, like people were like, oh, I'm going to watch your whole journey. I'm so excited for you. And I was about 2.5 months in and I was getting like 3 likes. It's just how society is today. It's just how people are wired today. It's something that you kind of have to accept, and it's kind of something that you have to push through, because everybody's going to love you at the end when you're looking great. But cherish those people that encourage you every single time, every single day when you're going through this kind of transformation, because those people do truly care and love about you. And that is who you should prioritize your time, your energy, and your heart towards. The last pillar is set a goal with a reward, you guys. I am a very goal-orientated person. It's even with my rep ranges. Like a lot of people, oh, go to failure. I have to give myself like a numerical number to get. Regardless if I know I'm not going to get it, I always have to reach for a specific goal, even if it is super unattainable. I told myself at the end of this 6 months that I would be going home to my family and going out on my favorite sushi spot to celebrate me 6 months of dieting. And I got like 6 rolls of sushi, all deep fried, all spicy mayo, cream cheese, wasabi, tempura, whatever I wanted. That was my reward. But it was also my reward is I got baptized. I gave myself to the Lord. I told myself once I lost 6 months that of me doing Bible study along with this, losing this weight, I was going to accept the Holy Spirit, the truth, the way, the life, Jesus Christ into my life. And that's what I did. You have to set yourself a goal that you want to achieve, and you have to work every day towards it, or else it's going to feel like, you're going to give yourself excuses at the end of the day if you're not giving yourself a goal. A goal is something that you can strive for, but a goal is something that you're not going to fall in love with at the end, because it is temporary. This process of losing this much weight, regaining your confidence, building up habits and mental toughness that you'll have for the rest of your life, that's what you'll fall in love with. That's what you'll cherish. And that is what you'll take away from this. But it is really, really nice at the end of the day to meet that goal and say, hey, look, I did this. I told myself I was going to do this and I freaking did it. That is probably the number one best thing you can do for your mental health and your self-outlook and self-confidence. Just set a goal, reach for it, and go and get it, you guys. So these are the kind of the pillars that helped me lose over 70 pounds in 6 months, from 250 pounds to 180 pounds. Let me know your guys' thoughts, comments, concerns, any kind of questions. A lot of more of this type of content is going to come out with my journey with addiction, being fat, being skinny. I've gone through it all. I grew up skinny, then I got ripped, then I turned to drug and alcohol addiction. Then I got ripped again, then I got fat, and then I got ripped again, and then I became a ripped Christian. So a lot of more stuff about my journey and how I can help you guys reach what you want to achieve, and just me telling my story of what I've gone through and how I overcame it with the Lord. In Jesus' name, I love you all. Peace.